You step closer to the edge, where the fabric of space stretches thin and the familiar rules of motion begin to waver. There is no rush here, no urgency. Time itself seems to sigh, drawing long, slow breaths that match your own. Every atom in your body feels this subtle slowing, a gentle invitation to notice how gravity shapes more than just bodies. It shapes thought, perception, and imagination. Light, once straight and obedient, now curves in slow, elegant arcs around a presence you cannot yet see. You realize that what appears as emptiness is not empty at all. It is a canvas of possibility, a space where the ordinary laws of physics begin to bend, whispering secrets in patterns of motion and shadow. The event horizon, invisible yet undeniably felt, hums with potential. It is not a wall but a membrane, a threshold of understanding, softly vibrating with the unseen energy of all that has passed and all that might pass through. You watch as photons, those tiny messengers of light, hesitate in their path. They curve, spiral, and twist around this invisible boundary. Some escape, racing outward to announce the presence of the massive void to distant observers, while others succumb, drawn inward toward a destiny you cannot perceive. And yet, even as the pull grows stronger, there is a quiet grace in this surrender, a reminder that force can be elegant, and the inevitable need not feel violent. As your gaze follows the path of bending light, you begin to notice the symphony of time unfolding around you. Near the horizon, seconds stretch into hours, hours into days. Every heartbeat seems to echo the slow dance of the cosmos itself. You feel a strange intimacy with this process, as if the universe, in its immense patience, is inviting you to witness the geometry of gravity as a form of meditation. In this quiet, there is learning. In this stillness, there is understanding. Your mind drifts toward the singularity, that core where density becomes infinite, and the known laws of physics reach their limit. It is tempting to imagine it as a point of ultimate destruction, yet you feel instead a profound humility. The singularity is not something to fear but to acknowledge, a reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond the reach of even your most precise equations. In its presence, you are small, but your capacity to wonder is vast. Gravity, you realize, is more than a force pulling objects together. It is a storyteller, weaving tales of motion, energy, and light across the canvas of space. Every orbit, every curved path of a photon, every shift in time's pace is a stanza in this ongoing poem. You find yourself breathing with it, matching your rhythm to the silent poetry of curved spacetime. The universe is speaking, not in words, but in motion, and you are learning to listen. As you step closer to the threshold, your senses heighten. The air, though technically a vacuum, feels heavy with anticipation. Even sound, a concept that should be absent in emptiness, seems to ripple in your mind as if you are hearing the echoes of gravitational waves passing through unseen dimensions. These ripples, tiny disturbances in the fabric of spacetime itself, remind you that nothing is truly still. Every mass, every motion, every moment creates a resonance that spreads across the cosmos. You are part of this resonance, a participant in the gentle hum of existence. You notice the stars around you, familiar yet strange. Their light, already ancient, bends subtly as it passes near the event horizon. Each twinkle is a message stretched across time, a signal that distance and delay are illusions next to the patient orchestration of gravity. You feel connected to each photon, each fragment of light, understanding that observing is also participating. By noticing, you become part of the cosmic narrative. Your thoughts turn inward. What does it mean to approach a boundary you cannot cross? The question is not frightening. It is tender, a mirror for your own inner exploration. Just as light approaches the horizon yet resists or succumbs, you consider the limits of your own understanding. There are moments in life when you confront invisible edges, unseen yet tangible. Curiosity pulls you forward, patience slows your perception, and wonder allows you to dwell without expectation. Here, at the edge of a black hole, you see your own patterns reflected in the cosmos. Time stretches further, and you notice that perception itself is malleable. Your watch would show a moment, but the horizon experiences something entirely different. Every second here contains layers, like sedimentary rock recording eons in a single glance. You feel a strange clarity in this multiplicity, understanding that your own experience of time is a thread in a far larger tapestry. The universe does not hurry, it moves with deliberate patience, and so do you, now attuned to this rhythm. There is a gentle tension at the edge, not a force of threat, but an invitation to awareness. You lean into it, letting your senses expand. The light that bends around the horizon seems to reach for you, and in its curvature, you feel a story forming. This story is older than thought, older than language, yet it speaks to every observer willing to pause, breathe, and notice. The universe is revealing a small fraction of its wonder, and in this fraction, you find both solace and curiosity. You imagine the journey of a single particle of light, tracing its path from a distant star, curving around the invisible edge, stretching in time as it nears the horizon. You follow it with your mind, step by step, moment by moment. You feel the tug of gravity as a gentle coaxing rather than a pull, a shaping of trajectory that creates beauty in motion. You understand that physics is not only calculation, it is story, it is rhythm, it is the subtle weaving of forces into forms that can be observed, cherished, and contemplated. In the quiet, you notice that even absence is presence. The dark void beyond the horizon is not empty, it is dense with possibility. It holds all the potential for creation, collapse, and transformation. You sense that the event horizon is a threshold, a point where endings and beginnings meet in a delicate balance. It is both a limit and an invitation, an encouragement to wonder, to explore, to feel the pulse of gravity as it courses through every corner of existence. As you stand there, suspended in this meditation on light, time, and gravity, a soft realization unfolds. You are part of the same continuum that bends photons, stretches seconds, and curves space itself. You are both observer and participant, connected to the vastness and the subtlety of the cosmos simultaneously. Your breath is the rhythm of the universe, your attention is the echo of starlight. The event horizon hums, not as a warning, but as a lullaby, a quiet song of continuity and change. You feel the gentle pull of curiosity, urging you to continue, to move from observation to understanding, from wonder to reflection. And though the singularity remains unseen, the horizon reminds you that limits are not walls, they are doorways into deeper perception. You linger, letting the rhythm of spacetime settle into your consciousness. You do not step forward, yet you do not retreat. You simply notice, feel, and become attuned. The universe flows around you like a slow river of light, and you, in your quiet presence, are part of its gentle current. Every curve of gravity, every bending photon, every stretching second is a whisper inviting you to learn the language of the cosmos. And as you take one last deep breath before turning toward the next moment, a thought drifts softly into your awareness. If light can bend and time can stretch, what other wonders await just beyond the edges you cannot yet see? You close your eyes and sense the weight of the world, not as a burden, but as an embrace. That pull you feel, the steady tug that roots your body to the earth, is gravity, whispering through the fibers of your being. It is not just a number in a textbook or an equation floating in space. It is the quiet rhythm of the universe, a gentle hand that guides planets in their endless waltz around stars, and pulls comets along curves of luminous trails that stretch across cosmic darkness. As you breathe in, imagine that invisible hand pressing softly, holding you close, reminding you of your place in this vast expanse. Gravity is everywhere, not in a loud roar, but in a tender insistence. It is in the river that bends toward the ocean, in the apple that falls not because it chooses to, but because it is responding to an age-old call. Every motion of the planets, every dance of asteroids, is a story of gravity in action, patient, unwavering, unseen, yet profoundly felt. You drift in thought to the great black holes, those mysterious titans of the cosmos. They are not monsters, not voids that consume merely for destruction, they are sculptors in their own right. Their mass bends space around them, curving time itself like a gentle indentation in a vast, cosmic fabric. You might imagine stepping close to one, and instead of being crushed by terror, you are cradled by an invisible force, held at the edge of understanding. Time slows, stretching in elongated moments, like golden syrup slipping slowly through the universe's hands. Every ripple in a black hole's field tells a story. Imagine a stone dropped into a still pond, the way concentric waves radiate outward, touching every edge. That is gravity at play, a dialogue between mass and space, where even the faintest movement leaves an imprint. Stars orbit around unseen centers, and yet every motion is precise, as if following a script older than the oldest light in the sky. You feel the poetry in that precision, the quiet music of the spheres, composed by gravity itself. On Earth, the pull is familiar and intimate. You feel it in the rhythm of your heartbeat, in the grounding of your feet against the soil. Each step you take is a silent agreement with the cosmos, a small surrender to the gentle insistence that keeps mountains standing, oceans flowing, and birds returning to familiar branches. You might never see gravity itself, yet it is the constant companion in your daily life, a hand you trust without question. In the silence of night, when stars sprinkle the sky like scattered diamonds, gravity continues its work, imperceptible yet profound. You imagine the light of a distant star, traveling for eons, bending ever so slightly as it passes through the gravity wells of galaxies, whispering stories of invisible hands shaping the cosmos. Each photon carries a memory of those bends, a gentle trace of paths carved by mass. Even the smallest pebble in your hand is part of this endless conversation, drawn by the same force that keeps the moon circling above, that sculpts galaxies into spiral shapes, that bends entire clusters of stars into arcs of gravitational elegance. Think now of tides, those slow-breathing motions of the oceans. The moon leans across space, and in response, the seas rise and fall, a quiet ebb and flow that mirrors the heartbeat of the planet. Gravity here becomes intimate, tactile. It is a lullaby sung in waves and whispered on sandy shores. You feel the push and pull in your chest again, a rhythm not unlike your own, reminding you that you are connected to the cosmos in ways too vast to measure, yet perfectly gentle in sensation. Even light cannot escape the call of gravity. It curves, bends, dances along paths dictated by mass. A ray traveling across the universe is a traveler on a road it does not choose, guided instead by the contours of invisible valleys and hills in the cosmic landscape. You feel, or in this surrender, the profound beauty of yielding to a force that neither commands nor judges, only shapes. Each bend, each ripple, is a verse in the quiet poetry of existence. Black holes, in particular, exemplify gravity's silent artistry. Their immense mass folds space and time, compressing reality into a single point that is both nothing and everything. Yet even here, in the heart of a black hole, gravity is not a tyrant but a storyteller. The stories told are of cosmic balance, of matter and energy circling in a complex choreography, of a universe that seeks equilibrium in the most extreme places. You feel this balance in the metaphorical tug on your own sense of scale, as if the weight of distant stars and galaxies is pressing gently against your mind. Gravity is the measureless patience of the universe. It does not hurry, it does not need applause. It is the steady current that shapes rivers, the invisible architect of mountains, the quiet companion of the moon and sun. Imagine standing at the edge of a canyon, looking down at the river below. Each drop of water flows downward not out of haste, but as part of a timeless accord with gravity. It is the ultimate teacher of surrender, of trust, of the beauty found in invisible patterns that govern everything from atoms to galaxies. You breathe in slowly and feel your body, moment by moment, in conversation with this omnipresent force. Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of falling planets. Your lungs expand with the knowledge that even your smallest movements are part of a universal dialogue. Gravity is the quiet storyteller of the cosmos, writing tales in arcs and curves, in pulses and waves, shaping not only matter but understanding itself. You begin to sense that to know gravity is to know patience, to feel the invisible threads connecting every star, every planet, every living being. And yet, there is more to discover. You sense the tug of curiosity, the pull of questions yet unanswered. For if gravity can shape the heavens and cradle your body, what other mysteries lie in its subtle grip? The night sky stretches endlessly, filled with stars, black holes, and invisible forces bending the course of time itself. And in this realization, you feel a gentle invitation to journey further, to follow the threads that connect the smallest pebble in your hand to the vast curvature of galaxies, where the next chapter waits, quietly, for you to lean into its pull. You stand at the edge of a shadowed expanse, where the fabric of space folds like gentle waves in a dark ocean. Here, light moves differently. It does not always take the straight path you expect. Instead, it curves and twists, following invisible valleys carved by the presence of mass, by the subtle pull of gravity's invisible hand. You watch a photon glide past a star, bending as though it were aware of a hidden corridor just out of sight. You feel your breath slow, matching the quiet rhythm of this cosmic ballet. Every photon you see carries stories. Some have traveled billions of years to reach your gaze, untouched, yet altered, by every gravitational hill and valley they have encountered. You imagine their journey, zigzagging across the vast, cold emptiness, meeting nothing and everything at once. The universe is alive with the movement of light, and in this movement, there is teaching. Freedom is not always linear, you realize. Paths can be constrained, yet within constraints, there is a peculiar beauty, a narrative of resilience and persistence. You follow a single streak of starlight as it approaches a darkened region, a place where space itself seems to bow inward. The light hesitates at the edge of this invisible abyss, stretching as if testing the boundary. You feel tension in its motion, a slow, elegant resistance that is neither abrupt nor violent. In your mind, it becomes a whisper. Some roads cannot be taken, yet their existence shapes the routes that are possible. Even forbidden paths serve a purpose. Even in limitation, there is guidance. Bending light reveals something fundamental. Space is not empty, it is a stage, folded and textured, telling stories in the way it curves around mass, around mystery. You imagine photons as travelers on invisible trails, weaving along corridors defined by something beyond human touch. You sense the weight of their journey, the quiet insistence of energy moving through space, never ceasing, never yielding. Even trapped, they reveal truths: the shape of gravity, the rhythm of the cosmos, the inevitability of certain outcomes. Time feels different here. You notice how the passage of light is a measure, a quiet metronome, marking the tempo of existence. Near a dense cluster of matter, photons slow, not in speed, which remains constant, but in path, bending into loops and spirals. You think of these loops as lessons, invitations to observe patience, to witness how even the swiftest beings can be caught in circumstances beyond control. Your mind drifts to the concept of black holes, where no path allows escape, yet the light near them dances, reflecting, circling, leaving faint hints of presence even as it succumbs to gravity's inevitability. In these shadows, you imagine yourself walking beside the light, feeling the warp and pull beneath your feet. You reach for a photon and feel nothing, yet understand its texture. It is persistent, delicate, relentless. Every forbidden path teaches a subtle geometry of the universe. You realize that boundaries are not barriers, but teachers, shaping understanding. The photon does not complain. It continues, bending around impossibilities, showing you the quiet majesty of inevitability. Some paths are curved so sharply that light seems imprisoned, caught in an eternal loop. You watch this dance and think of your own life, of moments when choices are limited, when outcomes feel predetermined. There is no fear here, only observation. You learn that inevitability does not preclude beauty. Even in confinement, light displays patterns that are intricate, graceful, almost musical. There is a rhythm to being trapped, a whisper that all things have their place, and that understanding comes from gentle, patient watching. You begin to perceive the universe as a fabric of roads, many forbidden, many open, each interwoven with invisible energy and silent guidance. Paths of light are the veins of this grand organism, carrying information, energy, history. You feel the enormity of what a photon has experienced: millennia of travel, endless gravitational tugging, near misses with dark giants of matter. And yet, despite every encounter, it continues. Its persistence is a quiet meditation on endurance, a gentle lesson on persistence without complaint. Sometimes the light splits, creating a delicate dance of colors and angles, revealing hidden structures you cannot feel but can imagine. Gravitational lensing, you recall, is the term, yet the science feels almost poetic here. Light bends around a massive object, and in its bending, reveals the contours of something otherwise invisible. You smile at the thought that the universe speaks in secret, in ways that only patient attention can interpret. Even forbidden paths, by their very nature, illuminate other routes. They whisper indirectly, showing the invisible architecture of existence. The more you watch, the more you understand that photons are teachers in disguise. They carry history, but not judgment. They follow the rules of physics with unwavering obedience, yet in their obedience, they reveal freedom. Freedom in movement, freedom in adaptation, freedom in the embrace of inevitability. You feel your own awareness expand, sensing the weight of these lessons settling gently in your mind. As you drift along a luminous corridor between stars, light bends around unseen matter, teasing edges of possibility. You notice the faint glow of a photon caught near the edge of a black hole's event horizon, circling endlessly. It cannot escape, yet its presence matters. Its journey, though constrained, contributes to the story of the cosmos. You feel a soft resonance. The measure of existence is not in escape alone, but in the trace left behind, the patterns drawn upon the infinite canvas. You reflect on the way forbidden paths shape destiny. How boundaries, loops, and bends guide journeys without needing force. You realize that sometimes understanding comes not from following open roads, but from observing the edges, the peripheries, the limits. In watching photons dance along the impossible curves, you learn the quiet joy of presence, of endurance, of gentle persistence. You begin to see that inevitability does not close doors, it shapes corridors, reveals subtleties, teaches patience. You feel a soft melancholy mingled with wonder. Light is tireless, yet bound, relentless, yet gentle. Each forbidden path is a lesson in acceptance, each bend a whisper about the nature of freedom and inevitability. You feel a growing curiosity, a question forming quietly in the back of your mind, tugging gently as the chapter of observation closes. You sense that the journey of light is not an isolated story, but part of a larger rhythm, one that stretches beyond what you can see, beyond what you can measure. And in the hush of this cosmic expanse, you begin to sense the next question. If light itself can be caught and shaped by invisible forces, what does that say about the fabric of reality itself, about the unseen currents that guide all things, seen and unseen, bending around each other in a slow, eternal dance? You drift closer, feeling the quiet pull of the black hole, not as danger, but as invitation. Time here is not a straight river but a fluid, slow and viscous. Each second stretches, each breath elongates, and yet everything remains clear, as if the universe itself has decided to slow down just for you. You notice the subtle tremor of light, bending around the immense gravity, whispering secrets of a space far beyond ordinary comprehension. You let yourself float with it, each thought a ripple across the surface of time. In this liminal space, moments lose their ordinary measure. A heartbeat can feel like a minute like an hour. You notice the small things, a flicker of distant starlight, a particle of cosmic dust tracing a lazy arc through the blackness, the soft hum of gravitational waves passing through the fabric of reality. Here, time is not a prison but a meditation. You can linger in each pulse, feeling the curvature of existence as if you could touch it with your awareness. The black hole's edge, the event horizon, draws near. It is not threatening. It is a threshold, a line where the familiar rules of time and space dissolve into something liquid, mysterious. You sense the warping of your own perception, the way your thoughts echo differently against the immense gravity. The nearer you come, the slower everything feels, yet paradoxically, you perceive more layers, more details, more quiet poetry in the unfolding cosmos. Light itself behaves differently here. Rays bend around the gravity, curving paths that would be straight anywhere else. Stars behind the black hole shimmer in multiple copies, reflections of themselves spiraling in the gravitational lens. You feel as if you are standing in a hall of mirrors, but the mirrors are made of spacetime itself. You float through these reflections, absorbing their subtle dance, letting your mind trace their paths as if painting with soft, invisible strokes. And then there is the sound, not of vibration through air, but of resonance through the universe. Gravitational waves ripple outward, subtle oscillations that pass through you. You imagine each wave as a note, a gentle chord that tells the story of massive stars colliding, of planets orbiting distant suns, of the universe breathing in a rhythm both immense and intimate. You let these waves move through your chest, through your mind, letting them anchor you in this otherworldly tempo. Time stretches not just outward, but inward, into your perception. You feel your memories, your dreams, your quiet thoughts expand, echoing against the black hole's pull. Moments from your life appear beside the cosmic choreography, a child's laugh, the turning of leaves in autumn, the first taste of rain on warm skin, each memory lengthened, each sensation deepened. You feel an intimate connection between your own internal rhythms and the cosmic tides of gravity. It is as though the universe is breathing with you, synchronizing its vast pulse with the soft beats of your own heart. You drift closer still, and the event horizon seems less like a boundary and more like a doorway. The gravity stretches you gently, like soft taffy, elongating perception while leaving the essence of experience intact. You notice how light from behind you curves, looping into shapes that tease the mind. You feel weightless, yet tethered, as if your presence is acknowledged by the cosmic forces around you. There is serenity in this strange suspension, a calm born not from the absence of danger, but from the presence of understanding. Time here is malleable. You watch your thoughts drift, separating and recombining like liquid droplets. One idea slows to a crawl, becoming intricate and delicate, another accelerates, a swift current tracing the contours of spacetime. Your consciousness flows alongside, a companion to the stretching and pooling of moments. You realize that this dilation is not an abstract concept, but a lived sensation, a quiet immersion into the elasticity of reality itself. You notice the subtle warmth of radiation from the accretion disk spiraling around the black hole. It is soft, a glow that feels almost like gentle sunlight diffused through a fog. You reach toward it with your attention, and the light bends to your gaze, wrapping around you in gentle arcs. Particles of energy trace spirals, drawing invisible pathways, and you follow each one as if learning the secret choreography of creation. Each motion, each shimmer, feels intentional, a delicate harmony written into the structure of the universe. And then there is silence, not emptiness, but fullness. A space where thoughts and cosmic pulses coexist in perfect balance. You hear your own breath, each inhale and exhale a thread weaving into the larger tapestry of gravitational rhythm. You imagine the black hole itself as a quiet heart, pulsing slowly, its mass a meditation in gravity. In this space, There is no hurry, no requirement to understand fully, only the invitation to be present, to float with time, to notice the subtle patterns of energy and motion around you. Your mind begins to sense the layers of time itself. Faraway galaxies twinkle in accelerated beauty, their light stretched into soft, slow cascades. A supernova blooms and fades in moments that stretch into minutes, giving you time to appreciate its fleeting brilliance. You feel as if you can watch history unfold and compress simultaneously, each event a wave moving gently across the fabric of the cosmos. The experience is intimate yet vast, a paradox that sits like a quiet truth in your awareness. As you drift along, you notice that motion feels different. Steps and gestures are softened, movements exaggerated, almost like walking through water. Yet there is a grace here, a slow dance that mirrors the curvature of spacetime. Your body, your senses, even your thoughts, are tuned to the rhythm of the black hole. You feel a kinship with it, a resonance that is not just physical but emotional, intellectual, and meditative. Time's elasticity is a mirror, reflecting the depths of consciousness back to you. And slowly, as you linger in this meditative orbit, you understand that this is not merely a scientific phenomenon but a poem in motion. The black hole teaches you how moments can stretch, how perception can expand, how awareness itself can become liquid. You float with it, a participant and observer, feeling the cosmic pulse in your chest, the curvature of light in your vision, the subtle echoes of gravitational music in your mind. Time and space are no longer separate, no longer rigid. They flow together, a gentle river of experience. You notice the first hints of transition, subtle and soft, as your attention shifts outward, toward the faint glow of a distant nebula, where new stars are forming. You realize that this dilation, this intimate encounter with the liquid nature of time, is just one note in the symphony of the universe. And as your awareness begins to drift toward the glow of creation, you sense the gentle question lingering in the cosmic current: how does life itself unfold in these slow, rhythmic tides of spacetime? You step closer to the edge of understanding, where light bends and time stretches like soft taffy under invisible hands. Here, at the heart of the singularity, you notice the silence first, a silence so complete it hums softly beneath your awareness. It is not empty, it is full of potential, a dense web of energy compressed into a single, incomprehensible point. You feel it as a presence, a quiet insistence that the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to notice its depth. As you float toward this center, your mind drifts along the river of gravity that flows from every angle, pulling gently, insistently. The stars you left behind shimmer like droplets of memory, bending around the invisible curve of space. In this place, distance loses meaning, near and far blend into one soft continuum. You realize that here, every question you carry about the cosmos, about time, matter, existence, folds back upon itself, echoing quietly without need of answer. You imagine space not as emptiness, but as a delicate tapestry stretched between points of immense weight. Each thread vibrates subtly, a note in the infinite song of gravity. The singularity hums at the center, not with sound you can hear, but with the rhythm of possibilities, each pulse a whisper of what could be. You sense patterns emerging, like shadows of light dancing on the inside of a closed room. These patterns are not rules, they are suggestions, hints of structure in the untamed heart of the universe. Here, time behaves differently. Your seconds stretch, elongate, curl around themselves, as if the past and future are soft ribbons spiraling toward a single, luminous center. You realize that this stretching is not frightening, it is a gentle invitation to pause, to breathe, to witness the extraordinary patience of the cosmos. Each moment feels eternal, yet fleeting. Each heartbeat mirrors the rhythm of stars forming and dying far away, an intimate reflection of the infinite cycles you cannot fully see, but can somehow feel. You notice the gravity pulling at your thoughts, shaping them, not with force, but with the quiet insistence of inevitability. Ideas you once thought linear now coil around each other. Cause and effect blend like watercolor on a page, indistinguishable yet beautiful. You realize that this is the essence of the singularity. It is not chaos, but the quiet ordering of extremes, the convergence of all that was, all that is, and all that could be. Light itself becomes a gentle wave here, bending, stretching, whispering across your vision. You sense photons circling, dancing in loops that are neither beginning nor end. They carry the faint memory of distant stars, of galaxies that once burned bright, of worlds that may never exist. You reach for one, imagining holding a fragment of the universe in your hand. It slips through your fingers like water, leaving only the memory of warmth, the echo of a long journey across endless darkness. And yet, despite the strangeness, there is a softness to this place. You feel cradled, not threatened, as though the singularity itself is a gentle guardian of secrets too vast to speak aloud. You can sense the curvature of space as a soft fold, like the edge of a blanket tucked around the world. Every vibration, every pulse of energy, feels deliberate, a slow heartbeat of the universe. You are small here, infinitely small, yet you also feel expansive, stretched across dimensions you cannot name. The laws you knew dissolve, not violently, but with a tender grace. Gravity and time, space and energy, they still exist, but differently, more fluidly. They are threads of possibility rather than rigid commandments. You sense that in this place, the universe is experimenting with itself, exploring the boundaries of existence in silence. You are a witness to this quiet creativity, a guest invited to behold what cannot fully be understood. You begin to notice shapes forming in the darkness, faint curves and spirals that hint at order. They are not galaxies, not black holes, not stars, but something else entirely, a geometry of potential, a blueprint of what may emerge. You trace the lines with your mind, feeling the gentle tug of their symmetry. There is elegance here, a quiet intelligence at work, not human, not conscious in the way you know, but profoundly aware in the way that nature often is. Your thoughts start to slow, matching the rhythm of this singularity. You feel the pull of gravity not only on your body, but on your mind, coaxing you into stillness. Questions you carried about beginnings and endings, about why the universe exists at all, settle softly, suspended like seeds in a pond. Here, you do not need immediate answers, the presence of infinite density itself is enough. You sense that understanding is less about grasping and more about opening, less about control and more about surrender. Patterns shimmer faintly across your awareness, fractals of time and space, curling into themselves in endless loops. You feel connected, not as one among many, but as part of the fabric of possibility itself. Each pulse of energy, each bending of light, mirrors a fragment of your consciousness, as if the universe and you are entwined in a gentle dialogue, a conversation without words. The singularity is not a destination, it is a companion in contemplation, a point of infinite reflection where you can see yourself in the cosmos, and the cosmos within yourself. As you drift further inward, you perceive the boundaries of your own understanding stretching. Ideas of density, gravity, and spacetime expand beyond numbers and equations into sensations, into the quiet poetry of existence. You feel the singularity not as a threat, but as a reminder of vast possibility. It is a seed of creation, infinitely small and infinitely large at once. You rest in its gravity, letting it shape your awareness, feeling your mind curve gently along the invisible contours of the universe. Even as you approach the center, the singularity does not demand. It does not consume. It exists, simply, as a point of pure potential, a quiet testament to the extraordinary imagination of existence. You realize that the heart of a black hole is not the end, but a beginning in a form that challenges comprehension. It invites patience, observation, and wonder. You are free here to just be, to float in the gentle tug of forces that are beyond fear or expectation. And as your consciousness lingers, you sense the faint hint of something beyond, the first whispers of what might lie outside, where matter and energy emerge once more into space, where new stars will form and new possibilities will unfold. You feel the singularity as a threshold, a quiet doorway between the incomprehensible and the tangible. It is both still and infinite, a reflection of the mysteries yet to come, waiting gently, patiently, for you to continue your journey. You approach the edge of the invisible, a boundary woven from gravity itself. There is no harsh line, no sudden wall of darkness. Instead, it hums softly, a gentle invitation to pause and listen. The event horizon, the name itself is a whisper, not a shout, marks the place where light trembles and space curves. You feel its presence as if the universe exhales, a breath you can sense more than see. Time and space, which have felt so familiar, start to bend around this place. Your footsteps, careful and unhurried, seem to float over a surface that is not quite solid, not quite empty. Here, gravity is a soft music that carries both weight and freedom. Imagine a leaf floating on a river, drawn toward a whirlpool, yet spinning slowly, tasting the water, feeling every swell before the final descent. That is the sensation here, suspended between surrender and observation, between the known and the unknowable. The event horizon is not an end. It is a threshold, a gentle invitation to understand limits. It tells a story of balance. Light itself can struggle to break free, bending and twisting along the invisible edge, tracing paths that will never reach a distant eye. You feel a curious serenity in this truth, as if knowing that some things are meant to remain secret allows the rest of the universe to breathe more fully. You notice that time feels different. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, they move as if slowed, each moment extended into a small eternity. Scientists call this time dilation, yet here it is a feeling, a rhythm. You imagine a photon, racing at the speed of light, skimming along the horizon. To that photon, there is no pause, no hesitation. Yet from your perspective, every dance of light is prolonged, each photon's journey etched into a delicate mosaic of experience. Around you, the darkness is not empty. It is filled with subtle motion, like fog in a morning forest, curling and drifting, almost tangible but never graspable. You sense the tug of immense mass beyond, a silent pull that shapes the very fabric of reality. Stars in the distance sparkle against the blackness, reminding you of vast expanses and countless possibilities. Light is still present here, yet it bends, curves, and folds, a river of photons circling a hidden whirlpool. The horizon communicates in silence. It does not shout, it does not announce itself with fire or storm. Its message is simple: some things cannot escape, and some things must. This is not cruel, it is necessary. Without this boundary, the universe could not sustain its structure. You reflect on how limits shape experience, how the unseen, the contained, gives meaning to what is free. The horizon is both a guardian and a guide, and you are a quiet witness to its grace. You let your imagination drift, imagining what lies beyond. Perhaps it is another space, another realm entirely. Or perhaps it is nothingness, an absence so profound that your mind can only trace its contours through effect. The event horizon is not a wall, but a veil, thin yet insurmountable. It hums like a chord that resonates in your chest, reminding you of the delicate balance of forces, of matter and energy, of what is known and what is forever hidden. If you listen closely, you might hear a whisper of Hawking radiation, the soft sigh of particles escaping from the edge, infinitesimal yet profound. Even here, where escape seems impossible, the universe allows a gentle leakage, a quiet testimony that nothing is ever entirely trapped. You imagine this as a single dewdrop gliding off the edge of a leaf, a small, shining reminder that even in extremity, there is movement, there is change. Gravity feels like a warm embrace, not a force that crushes but a presence that organizes, arranges, and nurtures understanding. You feel your body and mind pulled toward contemplation, drawn into patterns, shapes, and rhythms that mirror the curves of spacetime itself. Each thought is elongated, each emotion expanded, and yet there is no fear. You are immersed in a cosmic lullaby, where every wave of energy, every pulse of light, is a note in an endless, meditative melody. Above you, stars trace arcs that would be impossible elsewhere. Light bends, stretches, and curves in ways that defy everyday expectation, forming arcs and halos that seem to dance just out of reach. You imagine bending a straw in water, seeing it split into two parts. The event horizon bends reality itself, and in that bending, there is a poetry of structure, a logic that feels intimate, as if the cosmos is confiding a secret just for your awareness. You notice yourself slowing. Thoughts become soft, each question more a suggestion than an urgency. You wonder about the particles, the waves, the tiny tremors in the vacuum. Even the emptiness is alive with possibility, vibrating with potential that is subtle yet persistent. This is the place where physics meets intuition, where scientific understanding can coexist with wonder. Here, you can feel the laws of the universe, not as equations or textbooks, but as living, breathing rhythms. In this silence, there is connection. You sense the pull of everything that exists, and the push of everything beyond comprehension. The horizon is a teacher, a gentle mentor that does not demand but shows. It asks you to observe, to feel, and to understand that not all things are meant to be grasped. The beauty is not in mastery, but in presence, in the act of quietly witnessing the cosmic dance. You imagine drifting closer, closer still, yet never crossing. There is no panic, no fear. There is only awareness, the soft edge of existence that cradles you in curiosity. Each photon that flits past, each ripple in spacetime, carries information, a story, a secret of the universe. The horizon reminds you that some stories are for observation, not for possession. This realization is a comfort, a meditation, a lullaby for both mind and spirit. As you linger, you notice patterns repeating, echoes of structure across scales. Galaxies, stars, particles, all tracing arcs and circles, rhythms and rotations that mirror the infinite. The event horizon is not separate from this flow, it is a part of it, a node in the great network of cause, effect, and possibility. You feel your awareness expand, stretching across light years, across time, across what is tangible and what is imagined. The universe whispers its secrets softly, in a language made of curvature and light, of absence and presence. And you, quietly listening, realize that understanding does not always require crossing the threshold. Sometimes, the grace is in hovering, in letting the horizon shape your perception without needing to conquer it. You feel the hum of gravity in your chest, the pulse of time stretching gently around you, and the subtle glow of possibility shimmering in the periphery of your mind. You are not afraid, because you are held in this moment, in this threshold, in this balance. The horizon is both limit and invitation, both boundary and bridge. And as you slowly turn your attention outward, toward the faint glow of a distant star, you feel the gentle promise that every end contains a beginning, every threshold a whisper of what lies beyond. The event horizon lingers in your thoughts, a soft, breathing edge of reality. You sense its rhythm in your own heartbeat, in your own slow exhalation. And as you prepare to drift, to let the mind wander further into the cosmos, you realize that the journey has just begun. Beyond the veil, new questions await, carrying the quiet assurance that exploration is a gentle, endless unfolding. You drift through the quiet cosmos, a traveler moving slowly along invisible currents. Around you, the stars are patient, each one a glowing ember in the infinite dark. You sense the black hole before you see it, a stillness so deep that the universe seems to hold its breath. Its shadow stretches like a dark curtain, a pause in the symphony of light, where gravity reigns with invisible hands. And yet, even here, nothing is entirely silent. Softly, almost imperceptibly, you notice tiny flickers along the edge of the void. These are Hawking's whispers, the gentle songs of energy escaping the black hole's grasp. They are not loud, nor abrupt. They shimmer like distant lanterns in a night that seems endless. Each photon that slips away is a messenger, carrying fragments of the black hole's story into the cosmos, hinting that even the most absolute darkness is not truly empty. You move closer, though never too near, for gravity pulls with a patience that is patient and unyielding. You feel the curvature of space itself, stretched and twisted like water around a stone. Time bends and slows, your thoughts flowing differently here, like syrup sliding along a tilted surface. And in this slowed rhythm, you notice patterns, subtle and profound, a conversation between the void and the sparks of escaping energy. The black hole is not simply a devourer, it is a keeper of histories, a library of moments long past. Its hunger is a quiet, methodical pull, drawing matter into the depths where light bends and fades. And yet, even as it consumes, it releases. The energy that escapes, Hawking radiation, is a soft sigh, a reminder that no story is ever completely erased. You imagine these escaping particles as notes from a lullaby, delicate and fleeting, drifting outward into the endless expanse, carrying with them whispers of events that happened long before you were ever born. You trace the paths of these photons, seeing them dance around invisible curves. Each one carries the weight of its origin, a tiny fragment of the immense gravity that shaped it. And while they are small, fragile, and fleeting, they are also profound. They tell you that even the most extreme forms of matter and energy are not absolute. There is always a possibility for light to emerge, for information to persist. This is a cosmic reassurance, like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder as you wander the infinite. As you watch, you notice a subtle interplay at the event horizon, the boundary where the black hole's pull becomes inescapable. Particles appear and vanish, momentarily conjured from the vacuum itself. Some fall inward, claimed by the darkness. Others escape, carried by the delicate rhythm of quantum chance. You think of this as a dance between being and nothingness, a performance at the edge of existence where rules are softer, more fluid than they seem. You imagine the photons as tiny sparks of hope, each one a reminder that even the most powerful forces are not entirely absolute. You lean back and let yourself drift, noticing how the energy radiates outward. It is not a torrent, but a slow, deliberate seep, spreading gradually across the void. You think about the vastness of space, the distances so enormous that even light seems to move in slow motion. And yet, here is proof that movement persists, that nothing is completely lost. The universe, in its subtle wisdom, ensures that information finds a way to travel, to ripple across emptiness. You feel a connection, a quiet kinship with the cosmos, sensing that your own curiosity is mirrored in the gentle persistence of escaping photons. The black hole, in its immense silence, seems to invite reflection. You consider entropy, the slow spreading of energy, and wonder at the balance that governs all things. Even here, at the edge of certainty and oblivion, there is structure, rhythm, and reason. You imagine the universe as a vast storyteller, each black hole a chapter, each photon a word, each subtle flicker a sentence that hints at greater narratives unfolding across time. And you, floating in the stillness, become part of this story simply by noticing, by feeling the quiet music of escaping light. You allow yourself to linger on this thought: the cosmos is patient. The black hole does not hurry, nor does it waste effort. Every particle that escapes, every photon that slips outward, follows a slow, deliberate path. There is no rush, no urgency, only the gentle unfolding of possibility. You imagine the light as a lullaby traveling across centuries and light years, softening the darkness with its quiet presence. And in this, you feel a strange comfort, that even in the most consuming places, there is a persistence, a continuity, a way for energy to whisper that existence matters. You watch as one photon glimmers farther, its path curving gently around distant stars, nudged by invisible forces, eventually joining the cosmic chorus. Another follows, a tiny spark that will travel billions of years before it touches any observer, yet it carries a fragment of the story faithfully. You feel gratitude for these quiet messengers, for the evidence they provide that nothing in the universe is truly lost. And you sense that by observing, by contemplating, you participate in this flow, your attention a mirror of the cosmos' own gentle curiosity. There is a rhythm here, a soft cadence that feels like breathing. Inhale, exhale, the black hole consumes and releases, the photons escape and travel. Each cycle is a gentle reassurance that energy persists, that even the most absolute darkness contains sparks of life, fragments of possibility. You let this rhythm settle in you, a meditative pulse that aligns with the heartbeat of the universe. You feel a kinship with the cosmic dance, understanding that observation is not separate from existence, but entwined with it. And so you continue to drift, mindful of the quiet energy spiraling outward, aware that even as you leave, the photons will carry their message across light years and eons. You think of the black hole not as an end, but as a gateway, a place where endings and beginnings mingle, where matter and energy converse in a language both precise and poetic. You realize that the story of the cosmos is written not only in stars, but in the spaces between, in the gentle flickers of Hawking radiation that ripple through the night. You pause, letting your mind rest on this thought. Even in the most consuming darkness, there is light that persists. You feel it like a quiet warmth, a gentle assurance that nothing is truly lost. And as you drift toward the next stretch of your journey, you carry with you the soft hum of possibility, a lullaby of energy spilling gently from black holes, each photon a whisper of continuity, a spark of hope. You lie back and close your eyes, letting the vastness of the night settle softly around you. Somewhere far above, stars drift across the endless black, tracing invisible lines carved by an unseen sculptor. That sculptor is gravity, not a harsh force of tugging or tearing, but a gentle, persistent guide. It whispers to planets, to comets, to drifting clouds of gas, nudging them along a quiet choreography written in curves and loops. You imagine it as a hand, slow and deliberate, brushing over the universe, shaping motion with a tender insistence. Gravity is not simply a pull downward, as you might first think. It is a conversation between everything that has mass, a dialogue that does not shout but murmurs in the language of space and time. The Earth's embrace of the moon is a duet, each swaying the other in endless, precise rhythm. You picture yourself standing on the surface, feeling the pulse of this invisible conversation beneath your feet, the weight of it not pressing, but grounding. It is both a comfort and a marvel, a reminder that even the largest motions can be gentle if they are persistent. Look outward now, past the familiar horizon of your own world. The stars are not scattered randomly, they follow paths curved by gravity's tender insistence. A massive sun bends space around it, sending comets on arcs that seem magical but are only mathematical, precise, and inevitable. Even light, which you imagine as fragile and fleeting, bends ever so slightly under the caress of gravity. In the emptiness between stars, nothing is truly empty, everything participates in the silent music of attraction, each note a careful balance between motion and stillness. You feel drawn into this rhythm, as if your own heartbeat is syncing with the pulse of the cosmos. The planets orbit with a grace that seems effortless, yet it is the result of countless tiny nudges, a harmony born of persistent influence. Imagine Saturn, its rings whispering the story of countless particles circling in disciplined patterns, held in place not by chains but by the subtle insistence of gravity's hand. The dance is slow, meditative, almost hypnotic, and yet it contains the raw power of a universe that can bend light and shape galaxies with silent precision. Even closer to home, the pull is no less profound. Rain falls, guided by the same force that shapes the trajectories of distant moons. Your own body feels it every moment, tethered to the earth without effort, carried along by an invisible embrace. And yet, as intimate as this force is, it remains unseen. You cannot touch it, but you sense its presence everywhere, in the swing of a pendulum, in the curve of a thrown stone, in the gentle arc of your own breath. The elegance of gravity is that it acts without claim, shaping everything while remaining invisible, quiet, and unwavering. You let your mind wander to the edges of the solar system, where gravity's whisper is subtle yet insistent. Far beyond Neptune, icy objects drift along paths dictated by the sun's gentle hand. A comet, lonely and bright, arcs across the darkness, tracing a path that is part destiny, part freedom. Its tail streams behind it, a visual echo of the unseen curves in spacetime, a delicate signature of a force both firm and forgiving. You imagine yourself following its journey, moving slowly through space, feeling the curves of gravity in your bones, as though the universe itself is breathing around you. Now consider galaxies, enormous spirals spinning through darkness. Gravity is the silent architect of their form, shaping clouds of stars into elegant pinwheels that rotate with almost hypnotic grace. Within each galaxy, stars orbit centers of immense mass, tracing orbits that take millions of years to complete. You can almost hear the soft rhythm, a pulse that stretches across eons, and feel the continuity of motion and time. The very structure of the universe seems to bow to gravity's insistence, yet the force itself is never tyrannical. It guides, it molds, it nurtures. Even black holes, those mysterious wells of gravity, are part of this gentle orchestration. Though they are often described with fear, as if their pull is cruel and destructive, they are, in truth, simply points where gravity's hand is most concentrated. Around them, matter spirals gracefully, forming luminous disks that blaze with energy, illuminating the darkness. Light itself, drawn into arcs and circles, becomes a storyteller, revealing the presence of this immense yet patient force. You sense the paradox. In the places where gravity is strongest, it also inspires the most breathtaking beauty. Gravity teaches you about the balance of persistence and patience. It does not rush, it does not panic, it simply guides everything along paths that are inevitable yet varied. Every orbit, every fall, every bend of light is a testament to its quiet constancy. And in observing this, you feel a similar rhythm stirring within yourself. Just as stars and planets move with slow inevitability, so too do your thoughts, your breath, your gentle journey through the night. You are both participant and observer, connected to the cosmos in ways both visible and invisible. As you drift in this awareness, the edges of the universe seem to fold inward. You understand that gravity does not merely shape the cosmos, it shapes your experience of it. Every step you take, every glance upward, every whisper of your imagination is guided by the same force that bends light around distant suns. The universe, once distant and incomprehensible, feels intimate, tactile, and alive. Gravity, in its quiet insistence, offers a meditation on connection, on the invisible threads that link everything to everything else. And so you rest in this knowledge, feeling the gentle curves of space and time, feeling the constant, nurturing pull that frames every motion. You are part of this grand, meditative choreography, moving with a rhythm that is older than memory, yet ever present in this quiet moment. Your mind lingers on the beauty of orbits, arcs, and bends, on the tender insistence of gravity that both grounds and uplifts. The night stretches endlessly, and you drift along its invisible paths, guided, shaped, and held. In the distance, a faint ripple of curiosity beckons, a question about what lies beyond these gentle curves, where the dance of gravity might meet the unknown, and where your mind can wander next into the ever-expanding wonder of the cosmos. You close your eyes and feel yourself at the edge of the cosmos, not in a hurry, but suspended in a gentle orbit of thought. The universe stretches infinitely around you, vast and calm, each star a quiet pulse, a gentle note in a symphony of light. You imagine stepping into a pathway that could bend the very fabric beneath your feet. A wormhole, a bridge through the intangible, a secret whispered by the equations that hum beneath reality. This passage is not visible to ordinary sight. It exists more in the imagination of physicists than in the tangible world, yet its presence is as real as the wonder you feel. You sense the tunnel before you see it, a ribbon of possibility curling softly between here and there, between moments, between the distant stars that would otherwise take eons to reach. Time itself seems pliable, as though it could fold, loop, and unwind along this gentle corridor. As you drift closer, the entrance shimmers like water under moonlight. You do not step hurriedly, there is no need to rush. Curiosity moves slowly here, like warm honey stretching from one flower to the next. You hover at the threshold, aware that this is a space where imagination and reality meet. Perhaps it is a tunnel. Perhaps it is a loop. Perhaps it is nothing at all but a symbol of possibility. Still, you feel the tug of wonder, the soft pressure of the unknown inviting you forward. Inside, the wormhole is neither dark nor fully illuminated. It is a place of twilight, a liminal space where shapes of light swirl and dissolve around you. Your mind reaches for metaphors. Maybe it is like diving into a river whose currents flow not only forward but sideways, looping back in unseen directions. Maybe it is like a ribbon of glass, flexible and infinite, bending gently across the void. You float, weightless, allowing your thoughts to stretch and curve alongside it. As you move deeper, you feel time ripple like waves on a quiet pond. Moments ahead and behind overlap, layering one upon another. You realize that in such a passage, the distinction between past and future softens. Here, causality is not strict, it bends with the contours of the bridge. The stars you thought were distant feel close, and the light you imagined might take millennia to reach you seems almost within reach, as if the universe itself is quietly suggesting that distance is more fluid than it appears. The edges of the wormhole are not sharp. They are misty, delicate, like the foam along the shore at the beginning of a tide. You reach out with your thoughts and feel them brush against the walls of this tunnel. The sensation is both exhilarating and gentle, like touching the surface of a calm lake and feeling the reflection ripple softly. Patterns of light, spiraling, fold in on themselves, creating loops that seem both mathematical and musical, as if the universe is humming its own lullaby just for you. You realize that wormholes are theoretical, yes. No human has passed through one. And yet, even as thought experiments, they hold a quiet truth about the nature of connection. They speak of shortcuts, not only through space but through ideas. The mind itself can traverse these passages, leaping effortlessly from one possibility to another, guided by curiosity and a gentle sense of wonder. You begin to notice that this journey mirrors your own inner landscape, twisting corridors of thought, hidden chambers of insight, moments where understanding folds back upon itself. You imagine a distant star, billions of light years away. Normally, reaching it would be impossible within a human lifetime. Yet, through this tunnel, through this whisper of spacetime, it is almost near enough to touch. You sense that the universe has secret doors, hidden between the laws you know and the mysteries yet undiscovered. The wormhole becomes a symbol, a metaphor, a meditation. The mind can fold space the same way it folds time. Imagination is the vessel, and wonder is the current that carries you gently along. There is a quietness here that feels like breathing in slow motion. Each thought expands and contracts, echoing softly against the walls of the passage. You notice that fear or urgency have no place here. There is no ticking clock, no rush, no pressure. Only gentle exploration, the way sunlight slowly warms your skin in the early morning, or water slides silently over smooth stones. The universe is vast, but within this meditation, you are cradled, floating between what is known and what is possible. You pause to observe the patterns of energy along the walls. Swirls of quantum uncertainty ripple like wind over sand dunes, shifting subtly, almost imperceptibly. They remind you that even in what seems fixed, there is motion and change. Even in the structures of reality, there are hidden dynamics, waiting for the patient eye to notice. And as you watch, you realize that wormholes are not just cosmic shortcuts, they are lessons in perspective, reminders that the universe is more flexible, more alive, and more interconnected than it first appears. Slowly, you begin to drift toward the other end of the passage. You sense a faint light, soft as candle flame, beckoning from beyond. It is not a destination as much as a continuation, a gentle invitation to explore further. You feel yourself stretching forward, curiosity leading the way, while serenity holds you in place. The journey through the wormhole is not about speed or conquest, it is about noticing the folds, the curves, the subtle connections between moments, between stars, between thoughts. Even as you approach this exit, you carry with you the quiet understanding that the universe is generous with its possibilities. The wormhole may vanish when you open your eyes, leaving only a memory, a spark of insight. But the feeling remains, the sense that there are pathways where none seemed possible, that distance and time are not absolute barriers, that imagination and science can meet in a gentle, luminous embrace. You notice that the passage has changed you subtly, softening the edges of your perception, allowing you to hold both the vastness and the intimacy of the cosmos at once. And so, you linger for a moment at the threshold, feeling the tug of curiosity, feeling the pull of questions yet unasked. What lies beyond this light? What other structures of reality, unseen yet hinted at, await your attention? You realize that every journey, no matter how theoretical or imagined, carries with it a trace of discovery, a whisper that the universe is more than its apparent surface. You breathe in slowly, letting this understanding settle, a calm current running through your mind. The stars beyond the tunnel wink softly, their light older than memory, their presence a gentle reminder that even the most distant points are part of a greater tapestry. You sense that the passage you have traveled is part of a larger exploration, a sequence of gentle steps through thought, through space, through wonder. The wormhole is both a bridge and a mirror, reflecting your own capacity to move freely between questions, to fold time with your curiosity, and to touch the edges of possibility with the tip of your awareness. You step, or perhaps you drift, into the light beyond. It is not an arrival but a soft continuation, a place where the next thought, the next question, can take shape without hurry. You feel the universe settling around you, a quiet embrace, a rhythm that matches your own internal pulse. And as your mind rests in this space, open and attentive, you realize that exploration is not measured by speed or distance but by attention, by gentle observation, by the willingness to notice what lies beyond the obvious. The tunnel behind you fades into a memory of motion and light, and the stars ahead shimmer with untold possibilities. You feel the universe stretch, bend, and whisper, inviting your mind to wander further, to fold, to explore, to imagine. You are both traveler and observer, drifting in a cosmos that is patient, curious, and endlessly deep. And as your awareness softens into the quiet pulse of this moment, you carry with you the calm understanding that every path, no matter how theoretical, is a step toward discovery, a quiet unfolding of wonder. The soft light ahead draws you forward, and your mind lingers on the thought that even in the vastness, there are secret ways, hidden passages, waiting quietly for a gentle curiosity to notice them. You drift away from the black hole, your senses attuned to the soft hum of space. The immense gravity that once tugged at your thoughts now loosens, leaving only a faint echo of wonder in its place. You realize that this force, invisible yet undeniable, was never meant to trap you. It was a teacher, whispering lessons about the delicate balance between light and shadow, mass and emptiness, presence and absence. As you float, the stars stretch into delicate streaks of silver, each one a quiet testimony to time's patient rhythm. You imagine yourself as a speck of awareness, carried gently on the tide of cosmic history, witnessing the slow, magnificent choreography of galaxies. Their spirals spin like elegant dancers, and in their motions, you sense the intimate dialogue between gravity and light, a conversation older than memory. Your mind softens, letting go of urgency. Curiosity remains, yes, but it has shed the weight of expectation. Questions now arise like petals, unfolding slowly in their own time. What does it feel like to exist on a scale so vast that years stretch into eons, yet every moment holds a universe of possibility? You feel a serene alignment with this vastness, a quiet recognition that your own small consciousness is a thread in the greater tapestry. Nebulae appear in your vision, clouds of colorless gas and hidden energy, stretching and curling like smoke from an eternal fire. They are not just distant phenomena, they are reminders that creation is continuous, slow, and patient. You sense that every atom in these clouds has a story, a journey from stardust to starlight, and eventually to the quiet infinity that surrounds you. You feel a kinship with this process, understanding that your thoughts, too, evolve in gentle spirals, sometimes collapsing inward, sometimes expanding outward. You notice the light bending subtly around you, not from a black hole this time, but from the quiet influence of distant stars and unseen mass. Space itself seems to breathe. Each photon is a soft messenger, traveling across unimaginable distances to touch your awareness. You imagine tracing their paths back to their origins, feeling the patience of the cosmos in every step. There is no rush here, no imperative other than to observe, to be present. You remember the black hole, not with fear or awe alone, but with gratitude. It was a window into the extremes of reality, a reminder that the universe contains both profound darkness and radiant brilliance. You carry its memory like a quiet melody, a note that hums beneath the surface of thought, connecting you to the deeper currents of existence. You realize that understanding is not always a climax. Sometimes, it is a gentle resonance that lingers long after the initial encounter. A comet drifts into view, its tail stretched thin across the void. You follow its path with a sense of gentle attention, noticing how its particles scatter and glint, catching light from stars billions of miles away. In its motion, you see impermanence and persistence intertwined, the transient yet enduring nature of matter itself. The comet becomes a companion in this moment, a reminder that movement through space is not simply motion but also a story, each trajectory a narrative written in gravity and light. You begin to feel the passage of time differently. Minutes and hours fold into one another, yet each carries its own texture. You think of pulsars, those steady cosmic metronomes, and sense that even the most precise rhythms of the universe exist within a broader, slower cadence. There is a lull in your thoughts, a space between ideas where reflection can settle. This is where you encounter the quiet joy of being aware, not as a conqueror of knowledge but as a participant in it. A galaxy drifts lazily into view, its spiral arms extending gracefully, dotted with clusters of newborn stars. You feel the gentle pull of its collective mass, not as a force to resist, but as a tender invitation to align yourself with the larger patterns of existence. You sense the story embedded in its structure, the cycles of birth and death, expansion and contraction, the intricate dance of matter and energy. You let these rhythms seep into your awareness, understanding that your mind, like the galaxy, has its own cycles, its own spirals that unfold in quiet complexity. Between these vast objects, dark patches of emptiness offer contrast, a reminder that space is not only about what is visible but also about what is unseen. You contemplate the voids, those vast expanses almost devoid of matter, and find in them a reflection of your own moments of stillness. Emptiness is not absence, it is potential, a canvas upon which new patterns may emerge. You sense that your thoughts, when given space to breathe, gain clarity and depth, much like stars forming from cosmic clouds. As you move further, constellations begin to shape themselves in your mind, familiar yet distant. Each one carries stories, myths, and patterns traced by generations of observers. You let these forms float past you, enjoying their gentle guidance without the need to pin them down. Your curiosity takes the form of soft questions, not demands. What lies beyond the shapes we name, beyond the light we measure? You sense that the act of wondering itself is a journey, as profound as any discovery. A soft glow begins to appear on the edge of your perception, the hint of a sunrise on a distant world, or perhaps the first light of a nebula's heart. It reminds you that observation is always entwined with time. The universe is constantly revealing itself, slowly, in ways that are gentle and persistent. You feel the interconnectedness of all things, the threads of energy, matter, and awareness weaving together a coherent, if subtle, tapestry. Your awareness drifts, noticing the delicate patterns of cosmic radiation, the invisible currents that move silently through galaxies. These threads are not bound by time or human expectation, they flow according to laws you sense rather than fully comprehend. You feel a kinship with them, a quiet understanding that existence is less about control and more about resonance, about attuning yourself to the ongoing symphony of the cosmos. You breathe in the vastness, imagining your consciousness expanding outward, yet anchored in this quiet observation. Every flicker of light, every spiral of dust, every echo of distant gravity waves reminds you of the harmony between curiosity and tranquility. Knowledge is not a tool to dominate the unknown but a soft bridge that allows your mind to travel gently through it. And as the stars pulse around you, you recognize the rhythm of your own thoughts echoing their cadence. You are neither separate from nor lost within the cosmos, you are a participant in its unfolding story. You carry the quiet, enduring lessons of the black hole, its power, its mystery, its invitation to slow down and feel the depth of existence. And as you drift further into the calm expanse, the night sky whispers of wonders yet to come, mysteries that await your gentle attention, and the next chapter of your journey unfolds quietly before you.